Sometimes storms don't just thunder in the sky, they shake lives apart. Tonight on HQ Infinite Stories, we bring you the tale of a homeless young woman who knocked on the door of a lonely single father. What began as one night of shelter turned into something far deeper: warmth, hope, and a home she never expected. Before we dive in, if emotional and romantic stories are your thing, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you never miss the stories that touch the soul. The rain was relentless over Portland, Oregon, hammering rooftops and flooding the streets. Inside a small suburban home, Ethan Carter, a 32-year-old widowed father, quietly folded laundry while listening to the storm. His little girl Maya was already asleep, clutching her teddy bear. For Ethan, silence had been his companion since losing his wife 3 years earlier. But that night silence was broken. A knock at the door. At first faint, then urgent. Ethan hesitated, thinking it was just the wind. But when he opened the door, he found a young woman, drenched and trembling, her eyes full of fear and exhaustion. She looked no older than 22. "Please," she whispered through chattering teeth. "Just one night. I have nowhere else to go." Every instinct told Ethan to protect his daughter and close the door. But something in her desperate gaze stopped him. Just then little Maya appeared, clutching her teddy. She rubbed her eyes and said softly, "Daddy, she looks cold. Can't she come in?" Ethan exhaled, torn between caution and compassion, and finally stepped aside. "All right, come inside." The girl, Lena, entered with quiet gratitude. She smelled faintly of rain and city streets, but also of fragility, like someone who hadn't been cared for in a long time. She explained she had left behind a broken home, hitchhiked across states, and now survived night after night on Portland's streets. But on that stormy night, shelters were full. Desperation had brought her here. "You take the bed," Ethan said firmly. "I'll sleep on the couch." "I can take the floor," Lena protested. "No," Ethan interrupted gently. "You've been through enough. Take the bed. Just for tonight." And so, she did. For the first time in months, Lena slept without fear of the cold. She clutched the blanket to her chest and whispered, "This feels like home." Morning came and Maya bounded into the kitchen where Lena sat nervously sipping water. Maya grinned and said innocently, "You're pretty." For the first time in a long while, Lena laughed, a soft, musical sound that seemed to wake the house from its long silence. Ethan, brewing coffee, couldn't help but notice how alive the home suddenly felt. What was meant to be one night stretched into 2, then 3. Ethan told himself it was temporary, but he couldn't ignore the bond forming. Maya adored Lena, giggling as she braided her hair or helped with homework. And Ethan? He caught himself watching Lena when she wasn't looking, his heart stirring in ways he thought he'd buried forever. One evening, as Lena stirred pasta on the stove, she looked at him and whispered, "You only promised me a bed, but this feels like more." Ethan's throat tightened. "It's just until you're steady again. I don't want you to think—" But Lena interrupted, her voice trembling. "You don't understand, Ethan. You didn't just give me shelter. You gave me safety. A place where I can breathe." Her eyes glistened and Ethan's walls crumbled. He stepped closer, close enough to feel her warmth, to catch the faint scent of soap in her hair. His voice dropped low. "Maybe what we both needed wasn't just a bed, maybe it was a home." Outside the storm raged again, but inside something brighter sparked. Quiet, undeniable, life-changing. Lena hadn't just found a roof. She'd found belonging, love, and a family she never imagined. That night, as Ethan tucked Maya into bed, the little girl whispered, "Daddy, can Lena stay forever?" Ethan's eyes met Lena's across the room. For the first time in years, he felt the answer in his bones. Yes. What began as a knock at the door became something far greater. A family reborn. Not by blood, but by choice. Do you believe strangers sometimes enter our lives for a reason? If this story touched your heart, Like this video and subscribe to HQ Infinite Stories, where love, hope, and second chances are always waiting to be told.